Namaste and welcome to Let's Talk Homeopathy, your peaceful corner of the world where healing meets wisdom. I'm Dr. Soumya Singh, and each week we dive into the art and science of homeopathy. One remedy, one case, one conversation at a time. So grab your cup of tea and let's begin the journey together. Today we are exploring rubrics that may sound similar but reveal very different states of mind: absent minded, forgetful, and memory. These are common everyday experiences, but in homeopathy, they are not ordinary. They hold the power to guide us closer to a patient's inner world. Let's begin with absent minded. The meaning of this word is lost in thought and unaware of one's surroundings or actions. This is a state where the patient is physically present but mentally elsewhere. It's not about memory failure, it's about a drifting, wandering mind. This is not a defect in memory capacity itself, but a temporary lack of attention, which leads to errors, omissions, or appearing lost in thought. The person's mind is preoccupied, so the impressions never even fully register. Hence, they cannot be recalled later. The person may appear lost, preoccupied, or even disconnected from the moment. They may start something but forget it midway, not because they can't remember, but because their mind has floated away. Let's take up a clinical scenario. A 32-year-old teacher comes to the clinic. As I ask her about her complaints, she looks away. Her eyes are distant. I ask, "How long have you had this problem?" She pauses, blinks, and says, "Sorry, what was the question?" She tells she often leaves her cooking on the gas and finds it burnt, not because she forgot she was cooking, but because her mind drifts to personal worries. She starts one sentence and ends up talking about something entirely different. Here, her problem is not defective memory, it's a lack of presence. When you observe a patient like this, rubric absent minded can become a key to understand their inner focus, or rather, their loss of it. Now, let's contrast this with forgetfulness. The meaning of the word forget is to lose the remembrance of, be unable to think of, or recall. Here, in forgetfulness, the patient is present in the moment, but there is a lapse in the memory. It's about an inability to recall either names, places, appointments, or tasks, even if the person is mentally attentive. This is not drifting, it's a cognitive gap. When we see the rubric mind absent minded in Kent repertory, it tells us to compare it with forgetful. Let's take up a clinical scenario. A 45-year-old accountant comes to the clinic. He says, "Doctor, I was about to introduce my colleague and I just couldn't remember his name, even though I work with him every day." He often goes to the next room to get something and forgets why he even went there. He is attentive, aware, even frustrated by these lapses. Unlike the previous patient, his mind isn't floating. He simply cannot recall. Forgetfulness often points towards mental exhaustion, stress, or constitutional tendencies, while absent mindedness reflects the distraction of the mind. Forgetfulness reveals the weakness of memory. We see the rubric mind forgetfulness in Kent repertory, which tells us to compare it with memory. And finally, memory itself. Memory is the faculty that enables the storage, retention, and recall of information. When there's a weakness or loss of memory, it's not just distraction or temporary retrieval trouble, it's a deeper disturbance in the faculty itself. This can be functional or organic in origin. Let's take up a clinical scenario. A 68-year-old retired teacher comes to me. She repeats the same questions several times, forgets whether she is eaten, and cannot even recall the visitors who came just an hour ago. Unlike the earlier scenarios, here the power of retention itself is failing, especially recent memories. This is not mere forgetfulness, it reflects actual weakness of the memory. So basically, a quick differentiation takes us to this, that absent minded has no registration because there is a attention problem. Forgetful is failed retrieval, which is temporary recall issue. And memory, weakness, impaired capacity, deeper loss of retention and recall. These subtleties matter in remedy differentiation. As homeopaths, we don't just listen to the symptoms, we listen to the spaces between the words. Absent minded whispers of a wandering mind. Forgetfulness speaks of memory gaps, and both deserve the attention that can lead us towards the similar medicine. This was Let's Talk Homeopathy. If today's episode touched you, share it with a colleague or a student because learning rubrics through lived human experiences makes us practice. This was Let's Talk Homeopathy. If today's episode touched you, share it with a colleague or a student because learning rubrics through lived human experiences makes our practice deeper and more humane. Until next time, keep listening, keep observing, and keep talking homeopathy.